Feargal said, Feargal, I heard him out of my peripheral hearing. He said, don't let him off the hook. And this is God ringing me to tell me to beware of... this could be a news story, Feargal. Feargal McCormack is with us this morning, always and very, very welcome. And I'm making sure that we can't be heard. No, there's nothing there. The world remains intact, Feargal. Welcoming, you brought me Dermot Morgan of Rostrevor, Feargal McCormack of FPM. What is it called these days? PFK? PKF FPM.
That would be correct.
I've got it right. I get confused.
You're all right. As long as you're playing around with letters, it's good.
Yes, it's good. It's good.
It's nice to see you playing with some technology anyway.
Isn't it great? I've come a long way.
You have, yeah.
You know, do you know that? I'll tell you this, Feargal. Look at that. Now, can you see a wire anywhere on that? No, there's no wires. But yet, if I press a button there, I can talk to someone in China.
It's fantastic.
How do I get that at all?
It's fantastic.
It's amazing. Listen, you brought me Dermot Morgan, one of your staff.
One of my colleagues, yeah.
You're one of your colleagues, indeed. So, when did you join the company?
4 years ago this May, so...
Well, that's the back of it broken. You're there. You're
I'm
part of the team.
Now, yeah.
It's a bit like the Benedictines. Once you get in, you never get out. He holds on to you. There's a regime of partnership within the company, would you say? You're all working together.
I hope so.
Yeah. What's your take on... Why did you go to this man's company?
Well, because whenever I joined, it was obviously FPM, because it was a large enough firm at the time, and you got a good range of clients. So you got to work across a good range of clients whilst getting good, close training. So if you joined a larger firm, it was maybe at the expense of training. So you maybe didn't get a broad range.
You were getting both with this man.
Yes, exactly.
You're proud of this guy.
Oh, he's one of our brightest and best.
Yeah.
In 23 years, he's one of the stars.
Wow, I tell you. How old are you?
24. 24.
My goodness. What's it like to be 24?
It's great. Good to be young.
It's good to be young. I want to tell you something that'll give you great encouragement. It's also great to be old. I tell you, without a shadow of a doubt.
Looking forward to it.
A combination of both. No, I mean, to be fair, Dermot, at 24 years of age, has an amazing amount of business he has seen, and more importantly...
He's been on tour this week meeting business
across Ireland. Dermot has also been in Edinburgh for 6 weeks in St. Commons and stuff. Dermot is probably going to New York next year for 13 weeks, so... Dermot is seeing the world and seeing the business world.
Well, that's important, because the business world, whether we like it or not, makes the world. If we've got a good business world, then we have a successful economy. Successful economy means happy families.
Well, it has a key role to play.
Absolutely. Where are we at the moment? We're into general election mode. People are charging for the May polls. Cameron is promising a wall-to-wall health service. Who's going to pay for all of this? Because your mantra has constantly been here. You need to earn it to spend it.
Well, I do think there's something in that particular proposal, but I mean, one could say we have 7 days, 365 8 days a year, 24/7 healthcare. The only thing I'd say is that it certainly makes economic logic. It's a matter of, I think, creating the culture that if one goes into a hospital at the weekend, you can expect the same level of care than you go in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which would appear is not the case at present.
Don't get sick at the weekend.
I think, to be fair, if you think about it, it makes logic, because we've invested so heavily in the training of doctors and the training of people involved in the whole medicine sector. And equally, we've invested so heavily in equipment that it doesn't make sense from a pure business point of view that any of this equipment is idle, or indeed we have to ask the question. And there may be reasons that we need to really find out what they are. But why are so many people, having had the benefit of medicine training, leaving the profession at age 40, 45? Particularly a significant number of females. Now, if you think that over, that can't make sense, because the type of investment you're making in the development and knowledge of somebody in medicine really requires a 65 somebody working probably 65.
Yeah.
And you have to ask the question, in most other lines of business at present, the combination of experience and youth is very good. And why have we so many doctors retiring so early?
Yeah. Dermot, you're 24. Give me a kind of thumbnail sketch of a young man's vision of the modern Northern Ireland.
Well, I suppose it's busy. Things are starting to pick up. It is busy. I think at the minute it's difficult getting the property ladder. People are just trying to work as hard as they can, maybe getting the property ladder, and then by the age of 30.
Yeah.
But certainly, I don't think there's any. I don't think they're looking to retire earlier.
No, no, no. You're talking about the property ladder. Are you on that ladder yourself yet?
I am. Well, I'm still living at home, but I own a property that I'm currently renting
Yeah.
out. So
You've started.
Yeah.
That's a
Getting
huge
there
business.
Anyway. Yeah, sure.
Acumen to be doing that.
Yeah.
Well done. I wish
Yeah.
I had done that when I was 24.
Well,
But I was traipsing around the world in the Navy, for God's sake, and not thinking wisely about these things.
You've seen the world.
I did.
You bring those experiences back. Oh, everyone has different experiences.
Yes, different stories. All God's creatures have a place in the choir. That's what they say.
They say life and indeed business is about people and relationships.
Where are we now? You were talking there about the best use of hospital resources. We have the trickling, and I don't think we can put it any more than trickling, of folk from the Republic of Ireland, from Dundalk, from Louth, from Monaghan, coming up for hospital services in Newry. Is that a way forward, to see have a wider catchment area, creating more wealth within the system? More wealth within the system allows more investment and allows a better service for everybody.
Personally, I've always held the view that the key to developing acute hospital services in Newry laid with the whole concept of cross-border.
Yeah.
Newry is ideally located, because we have a very good hospital, to invest further in the development of resources, both physical and people. And to do that, you can't do it with half your natural circle, not being available to your hospital. So the logical thing in my view, and this has been a view I've held for some time, is that the North, in particular Newry, should have been pitching south Newry Hospital, Daisy Hill, because the logical thing is that Daisy Hill was the most modern equipped hospital, in reality, between here and Dublin. And therefore, rather than duplicate resources on an island which has limited resources, I've always had the view we should share resources. There's some things we should be purchasing. For example, I think some of the expertise in children's services from Dublin and cancer services. But equally, there are some things we should be offering to our close neighbours in the Republic. So I believe that the whole strategy for the island is an island health service. It's a health service driven on people, based on people. And you can't locate a hospital in a peripheral border town like Newry and all of a sudden say your catchment area is cut in half. It just doesn't make sense. So the natural thing is, with the roads and with the troubles now behind us and very good road and infrastructure, that Daisy Hill should be seen as a tremendous asset. And the culture in Daisy Hill has always been good. I've been there myself a number of occasions. And I have to say that I could only speak highly of it, and it certainly is a treasure we need to hold on to, but more importantly, we need to adapt, and we need to ensure that it's ready to deal with the requirements of the next 50 years.
Absolutely. We were, the march on Saturday, they save our stroke unit at Daisy Hill. I reported on it. I did a posting, I think it's called, on Destination Newry's Facebook. And within an hour, we had 70,000 hits. Now Dara Hughes, the mayor, was handing in the letter at the gate of Daisy Hill while they were still coming across the Savoy Bridge. That's a mighty turnout, Feargal.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that there can be no hiding the fact that Daisy Hill has provided good service. But equally, we're not stupid. We all realise you need a certain population mass in today's modern world in order to make services viable. And therefore, I do think, and this comes back to numbers and population and people, that Daisy Hill is a natural place between Belfast and Dublin. And to be upfront about it, Craigavon to me is not a natural place to go. I mean, if I wasn't going to Daisy Hill, I'd go to Belfast or Dublin. It's easier. Yeah. The road network is easier. And therefore, whilst Craigavon is natural for its own hinterland, I don't see it. The fact that it's under the same Southern Trust as Daisy Hill, to me, is irrelevant. This has to be a demand-led service. And I believe if you ask most people in this area, if they weren't going to Daisy Hill, they would find Belfast or Dublin more convenient. And therefore, I believe that what really should happen is we should look at all our resources in terms of people's needs across the island, because there's no sense duplication here. And I believe in that environment, Daisy Hill is ideally located and has the current necessary skill base upon which to develop and enhance it's service provision. And
So the
care.
stroke unit should stay at Daisy Hill.
I would hope so, but I have to be honest in this, Rowan, I don't have the expertise to make that judgment.
Yeah.
Or
I'm the same,
or
actually.
the knowledge.
I'm the same.
And ultimately, I have to say, I've always held the view that quality exceeds convenience. But having put that in that context...
That's good.
Having put that, because to be fair, Rowan, if you and I, if we have a close relative not well tonight, if they have to be in Cork, we'll take them to Cork.
We'll take them to Cork.
If that's for the best
Yeah,
treatment.
yeah.
So to be upfront about it, in the context that I've always held the view, quality must take precedence over convenience.
Yes.
So if I park that for a second, I make the case that a hospital superbly located as it is, beside the road network between the Dublin-Belfast Economic Corridor, with currently an established reputation and credibility for quality care provision, it makes logic to further develop that site and to further develop the expertise that is within that current organisation's capability.
Following on your mantra that quality exceeds, the importance of quality exceeds that of convenience. Jim Wells is no fool. He claims he has got the clinical evidence that Craigavon's the place. And the response I hear to that coming from the people is, what about the relatives who you have so far to travel to visit? It's 5 bus journeys to get there. That's convenience. But if it's quality, and if Wells is right, if the quality is based clinically provable, demonstrable, evidentially at Craigavon, whether it be Craigavon or Cork or Mars, we'll take our loved one there.
We would, but there's a key point here, particularly as I understand with stroke, that timing is very, very important. And the roads to Craigavon from here are very poor. So the quality is impacted upon the speed at which the patient, as I understand it, is dealt with. So I think, to be upfront about it, what we're saying here is, if you look between Belfast and Dublin, there is nowhere has a better road infrastructure, train infrastructure than Newry. And therefore, it makes logic to further develop the capability in Newry.
Okay, but let me clarify one thing, and it's important to clarify it. The initial response to the stroke will not be Craigavon, it will be Newry. That remains set in concrete. You will get your clot-busting medicine, your injection at Newry, and it's only after that 24 hours that you will gravitate towards Craigavon.
It may be, but I'm not...
It certainly is.
Yeah, well, the point I'm simply making here is, and I'm not a clinical person, and I think we must also take, must always take clinical views into consideration, is that I believe, and I'd rather not single this on the stroke unit, I think in the broader context of a people-centred health service, particularly acute service, it has made logic, and has made logic for many years, for basically, in my view, for Daisy Hill Hospital to become a centre of excellence for its catchment area, north and south.
That's
now,
it. You see.
The point I'm making to you is, and this is nothing against Craigavon, I believe it's natural for the people of Newry to go to Belfast, not Craigavon.
I agree.
So what I'm trying to say to you is, quality above convenience. I think when the quality is probably of equal in Belfast or Craigavon, then therefore it should be Belfast, because all the road networks, all the bus networks, all the rail networks, every form of infrastructure, there is no natural infrastructure that takes you from Newry to Craigavon.
Yes. I don't think you and I would have been involved in the business of making Craigavon a city. We wouldn't have had the same guttural roar of enthusiasm as we had for Newry.
Well, to be upfront about it, and let's just being honest, that's history. We are where we are. But the facts are very simple. It doesn't make logic to divert people from Newry to Craigavon if that same service is available in Belfast and Dublin.
I got you. Are you proud of him?
I am, surely.
He knows about many, many things.
Oh, he does.
Well, he doesn't. He gives you his views if he has them.
That's all right. You have them, which is important. The only sin is not to have a view, and also to recognise that your view is capable of changing, because that's what civilization's about.
Well, you must always respect, first of all, diversity.
Yeah.
You must always respect, in my personal view, the capability of learning from debate. And therefore, it was Sir George Bernard Shaw who said, the only rule is, there is no rule.
I love your style. Thank you. Go well. Take care. All the best to you, young man. Dermot Morgan of Rostrevor, Feargal McCormack, the man of our community. I have to say to you, and I want to thank you for this before you go, and I'm not being funny, your tie has brought me a burst of joy this morning. It's a spring. Will you swap me ties? No. No.
I would never wish to swap your tie because I know you give so much thought to your ties. But what I would
Well,
say,
look at that. That is fantastic.
But what I would say to you is, when I entered the studio this morning, it was your ass rather than your tie, and that you were showing off. And to be fair, Rowan, if I was you, I would continue selecting the ties. You're very good at it.
I should tell my good friend McCormack that early retraction mitigates damages. Go well. Take care.
Thank you very
God
much.
bless
Thank you very much.
All the best. All the best.